We're going to go straight to our next session now, which is something a little bit different. Unilever is a household name to all of us who work in advertising, and we're delighted to welcome in Tanzeen, who's the marketing director for Unilever in Bangladesh. Tanzeen's going to offer a client's perspective of what works and what doesn't work in a local context, and also where he sees any capability gaps that we should be aware of. So morning, Tanzeen, or it's afternoon for you, morning for me. Welcome to UK House. I'm going to just hand over to you, and I'll come back at the end for any questions that we may have from anybody in the audience then.
Sure. Thank you, Ashley. So what I'm going to talk about today is what do we see from the client's perspective? What do we want? How do we want to see the advertising industry growing? What works, what doesn't work, as well as what are the capability gaps we think that needs to be tackled going forward. But first, a little bit about Unilever. We have been here in Bangladesh since its journey, and this is one of the largest FMCG business in Bangladesh, and with almost 50% of the corporate share, we have leading brands across the categories that are present in Bangladesh. Whether it's the personal care division or the home care division or the foods and refreshment division that we operate in this country. And thus, over the years, we have been pioneering, along with our advertising partners. The entire industry has been, actually been working with Unilever at the forefront of developing these brands and providing world-class leading solutions to consumer problems in the FMCG industry. And we have been working hand in hand with partners like Asiatech, Adcom, and other advertising partners that we have been working in Bangladesh with to bring out world-class communications, which have been also locally developed with our advertising agencies. So overall, what works? It's just like any other country. The first thing is that we really need to have sharp insights. And for that, we need to have really that consumer centricity amongst our, of course, in the company as well as with our agency partners. And together, when we deep dive around the issues that our consumers are trying to solve, that's when our brands come and help them solve them. So what is the purpose of an advertising? It's to communicate that benefit in a noticeable manner. So, for decades, Unilever has been actually pioneering something called market development. And again, with our partners, we have been, talking about the benefits of our brands with sharp insights around how our brands would solve consumer problems. This has been really also rooted with local culture. This is a very important point, is that what really works is when these once you found out that this is the insight, this is how you're going to communicate that triggers to move from awareness to conversion to your brand. With that insight, you need to come up with a campaign idea which is really noticeable but rooted in the local culture. While of course there's some global insights that work as well, but by and large, what we've seen is that when you have a local insight and also really crafted in a manner that leverages our unique culture, because like every other country, Bangladesh has a proud history. We are we have rebelled against all the issues that we've had over the years, and we have come up winning. And in the future, which is very bright, as Khalid has already talked about. So going forward, I think it's very important to understand that we continue to unearth these insights and really understand the local culture and leverage those to develop really great communications and creativity. At the end of the day, your product strength will take you so far. This is where I think there's a huge amount of work to do in terms of developing the creative industry. Because what doesn't work is basically when one size fits all. Basically, these communications which are pretty almost bland, almost, they're not noticeable because it's very just functional. Those are not noticeable. So creativity is really important to make your brand noticeable and almost drive a movement, because what we have in Unilever is called purpose-led communications that we want to drive, and future fit categories, right? So we have a belief that our brands should address societal impactful issues, and does make it really purposeful communications. So we believe that in order to do that, we also need the entire industry to develop that capability to make great creative communications. And there's some work to do around here. I think right now there isn't a very organized kind of education stream to develop advertisers of the future. It's mostly and I mean, coming from BBA graduates or some fine arts students, but there's no particular advertising professionals that are created in the country, and that's something to really focus on, because this industry is going to flourish, is going to grow. The GDP is going to really continue to flourish in the future. So we need great communications to drive these brands, and we need those capabilities, which is world class, which is available in the UK, to kind of be leveraged in Bangladesh as well. So there's work to do around working with the youth to focus on why creativity is important, because as most of us know, sometimes the traditional way of schooling almost destroys creativity because of that rote learning and all. So with the future of work, the creativity is going to be a very important skill, along with problem solving, and these skills. So a special focus needs to be around the importance of creativity, as well as overall advertising professional needs. For example, strategic planning, along with for the long term development of the creative idea, basically, right? And understanding the business problem, understanding consumer behavior. So there's a lot of it's a science and art mixed together, right? So our communications need to really drive the focus on creativity, because it's going to be very, very fragmented media going forward, and creativity is king, content is king. So this is an area where a lot more work needs to be done in terms of developing the capability in Bangladesh. So that's pretty much it from my side. Anything else, Aisling, that you have any queries on?
Thank you for that. I maybe have one or two questions for you, and I'll apologise in advance if I put you on the spot.
No problem.
But I guess I have two questions kind of coming from what you were saying, and one is around the education point. So from a sort of an international perspective, maybe sitting at your desk, and we have more questions coming in, which is brilliant. So we're going to be here. But what I'm keen to know is, from your desk and maybe your kind of peers within the Bangladesh market, is UK advertising, it's viewed and it's well known for its training and the education that we do. Of course, we're very strict on CPD. It's a culture here for our industry, and I'm keen to know if that's quite a selling point when you're sitting at your desk.
Sorry, I'm not clear about the question.
Sorry, my voice is going as well, which doesn't help. So what I'm interested to know more is, you've kind of mentioned how important education is, and that the lack of it maybe within the market, it could be a bit more professionalized for you. And then I guess from my desk, is the professionalism, the culture of education that we have in UK advertising, is that a selling point for us into CMOs?
Yes, of course, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Right now, just let me give you an example. If someone who, in fact, already our schooling has the British curriculum very integrated into our system. I myself have given O-levels under the Cambridge University, O-levels and A-levels, right? But after that, when someone chooses an education sector, they tend to use the mass level education is either you're going into a BBA graduate, business graduate, or you're going into some of the engineering or medicine graduate degrees, basically. There's right now no particular very, standard advertising, curriculum out there that you could really pursue in Bangladesh right now. So that's the reason that the advertising industry, and hence as a trickle effect, our industry suffers, because that lack of real focus and professionalism is sometimes missing. There are some great pieces of work that are done, but that is more inherent coming out of those years of experience of the gurus in the advertising agency. But as a whole, for the future generation, which is actually, this profession is a very exciting part of the of your profession, right? It's where all the fun things also happen. But as an overall approach, there is right now no standard curriculum to develop advertising professionals for the industry as a whole, basically.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things that you and I have spoke about on our briefing before this is an introduction to the IPA, because of course we've got CPD.
There's a lot of collaboration opportunity. I mean, this is also, of course, digital platforms are there, but really integrating it with our curriculums. We need to diversify our education platforms. It's very right now, concentrated around one or two areas, and that's what for the future of work. For the youth, diversify into different skills is very important. So that's a very important area to, also look at the outcome-based learning approach, because at the end of the day, just by learning doesn't matter. You need to see those employment generated in the future. So the industry, the FMCG industry and the advertising industry needs to work together to have these trainings, these curriculum ready for the youth, because it needs to have those, kind of professions ready once they graduate. It can't be like, because then there would be an attraction that I want to pursue an advertising job. And also internationalization of this whole atmosphere, because for example, in Unilever, I myself have been, worked internationally in the Unilever world when I got that chance. But in the advertising world in Bangladesh, not a lot of exports have gone out. So, but there are also, great talent in the industry, and they're not getting these opportunities outside. So that's also something that the UKAG can facilitate in, one or two of the greatest that we have in Bangladesh, and there are the great, some of those great names in there, right? From the entire industry to even production houses, the way that the content that were made over here in such a rates, I would challenge that at those rates, would anyone else be able to make such a quality output anywhere else in the world, in fact. So, some of the names, like for example, one of the leading ones that we have been working with decades have been Amitabh Reza, right? And he's helped to, he's one of the directors who've almost developed the industry over the years now.
Mm-hmm. And just to pick up on some of the points that you've kind of raised, but just, is advertising or even marketing, is it seen as a career choice amongst top students, or how do you go about finding talent in the market? Because to us, it's different. Whereas we've got that sort of, as we're talking about, we've got that career path that comes with education. So how do you find this talent?
So right now, advertising is looked at a very minor subset of marketing graduates. So in the industry, you'll just have these very generalized BBA graduates, right? Bachelor of Business Administration, and under that, people will choose, say, a marketing major or a finance major. That's the 99% of the output. And under marketing graduates, some of them might just take this route of the advertising industry. But if you and I'm also now collaborating with the leading business school in Bangladesh, like IBA, and when I'm taking some classes as a guest faculty, I see that it's in the curriculum, advertising is just one single course amongst all the semesters. So, but the way the entire, job fundamentals that are there, right, from a client servicing to strategic planning to creative execution, so the roles that are there and the intensive work that you have to do across, that is not appreciated, well known or taught in the universities right now. It requires a separate curriculum altogether to really develop expertise around this area. And now with the whole attitude, I mean, the whole kind of industry how it's going with the digital part of it, right? So, I mean, it is still creativity at the end of the day, but creativity in a digital world, in that sense, is not is far away from there basically. So there's a lot of work we can really do, with the help of UKG on that.
Yeah, and we're going to pick up the conversation after this, aren't we? We've already agreed that we're going to talk about the training and the courses and how we might help.
Absolutely.
And I know you've got to rush off to another meeting. So
no, that's okay. If there are any other questions, I'm happy to address. No problem. I have some.
No, I think that's what's come through, and I think I'd like to say thank you for joining us today. We were delighted that you were able to kind of give us some time from your busy diary, and I look forward to seeing you in Cannes, hopefully in person next year. We'll definitely do something together on the Croisette.